Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video guys, I'm doing a very basic video to help you guys with the preparedness for the blackouts. After I did the video about the planned blackouts in United Kingdom, I had few of the comments and messages that you guys, some of you don't actually have an idea where to start as to preparing for the blackouts. I'm gonna make this guys very simple. I did a video a few years back that is very complicated, or you can make it very complicated. However, if you're just starting and you only need to know the basic, and this is what I'm gonna cover today. So first of all guys, okay, there's 5 things we need to consider. First of them being fridge, freezers and life supporting equipment. Then we have general lighting, we have heating, we have cooking, and then we have personal hygiene. So I'm going to go through all of those 5 things very briefly, okay, to give you an idea of what to do. So firstly, let's going to start with fridge, freezers and the life supporting equipment. So first of all, you may be aware or not that if your fridge freezer is full, and I'm talking about freezer in this instance, your freezer will keep your food frozen for 48 hours if it is full. If it's only half full, okay, you have 24 hours and your food will stay frozen. The suggestion for that, guys, if your freezer is not full, is to fill your freezer with bottled water, freeze it, okay? So in this instance, if the power goes out, you bought yourself an extra 24 hours. And again, if you then, guys, over the time need to top up your freezer, you just take the bottled water out, okay, and just put whatever you need to put in it. But the idea is keep them full. There's another suggestion, guys. Yes, if you extra insulate your fridge freezers by putting like a thermal blanket on the top, apparently it can kind of help your freezer to stay much colder inside. To be fair, I haven't really had to resort to this kind of scenario, but having a warm blanket, it wouldn't hurt anyway. So when we're talking about the other life-saving equipment, guys, when you know certain machines you message me saying obviously your members of family are on, you do unfortunately require generators, and again the best instance for that will be solar generators. Yes, unfortunately there come many different sizes, many capabilities, okay, and of course the price range is quite vast as well. However, without them, guys, this is, you know, is very little we can do. However, I will cover this in a totally different video. I will go through and I do the basics. I'll show you all the generators and I kind of explain to you in layman's terms what you need to have or what you need to look out for to be able to support a certain machine. The beauty of the solar generators that a lot of them have a UPS built in. So UPS means uninterrupted power supply. So if you do have a machine that is paramount, that has to be working all the time, you'll plug in your generator into the wall socket and then you plug in the machine into that. So if you do have a power outage, the machine will automatically kick in and it will power whatever needs powering right away without any interruptions. And of course, guys, that's the same for the fridge and freezers as well. Unfortunately, when I said to you, some of us will have multiples of fridge and freezers, and of course you require a few generators to be able to support them all. So the thing will be for me as well is to actually consider now swapping the freezers around and potentially create one fridge freezer or one chest freezer full of certain things or more expensive things. So if the power goes out, if I have to make choices between powering certain things, I will power at least one freezer, okay, the one that has the most expensive items in. So next thing, guys, let's talk about heating. It is not really a lot, to be fair, this out there. You can buy propane heaters, indoor heaters that take sort of canisters like that. But again, it all depends, guys. We're talking here with these basic things that we can purchase. It is having, you know, literally power cut for a few hours. In the end of the day, guys, for preppers, 3 hours of power cuts is nothing. Again, unless you rely on certain equipment. Even having a 4 or 5 hour power cut is really not a big deal, so long as you have your basics ready. We live in a village, we have power cuts fairly regularly, especially if there are winds. For some reason, it always goes off, minimum 2 to 4 hours. It's kind of a norm, so we kind of go used to this. But again, a slightly bit longer prolonged period of times will require a kind of slightly different preparedness. So as for heating, guys, as I said, I don't have a propane heater. It's not something that I feel safe, especially having a little child in my house. However, guys, generally 3-4 hours, as I said, having a warm blanket is a really good idea. Something made of wool that keeps you warm. And the idea is in those instances, guys, is to keep yourself warm rather than keeping your house warm. If you have multiples of rooms, good idea to close your doors, use the draft excluders, maybe tape the windows, do basic things like that. And again, if a slightly prolonged period of power cuts, select a room, okay? Close all the doors and all of you spend time in their room, playing games, do whatever. All the body heat and just having few people in the room will help to warm this room up. And again, at the same time, if you do have generators, there are heated blanket, there's many electrical things that you can have. But if you don't have one of those, guys, that the basics of keeping warm is having layers. Right, next thing, again, cooking. Right, so 3 hours without food, guys, it's not a big deal. I'm sure if you're prepping, you already have or should have some basic foods that don't need cooking. I've done a video on MREs, which stands for meals ready to eat, for this instances alone. So if we don't have power, okay, it's very, very clever idea to have certain foods you can just snack on. To be fair, a little bit of fun, 3-4 hours without electricity, snack on some food, play some games. It's not a big deal. When we're talking about on maybe slightly awkward times because it's a dinner time or the power outages sort of happen for longer than 3-4 hours and you do want to have something decent to eat, obviously consider having the alternative cooking methods. If you have barbecues outside, brilliant idea, go and cook outside. If the weather is really terrible and you really want to cook inside or boil kettle, do whatever, then one of the camping stove, those kind of things, it's a really, really good idea. They're very inexpensive. You can buy them for about £20, including 4 canisters. Each one of those canisters lasts you approximately 2 hours, okay? It is a single burner, okay? And yes, they are designed for camping, they are designed to use outside, but it is only just like a gas hob. The same thing if you have gas running to your kitchen, it's pretty much the same thing. Just do be aware when you do use those things, guys, do use the precautions. So first of all, have this on fire retardant surface. Make sure the ventilation is a key. Make sure you do have your carbon monoxide alarm and make sure you have your fire extinguisher and fire safety blanket. Again, guys, can't stress enough that the safety of having those things, it is a common sense, but you just got to make sure that all those things are there, you have them and they're readily accessible before you commit to cooking. There are many, many other cooking, outdoor cooking things. I have mini micro hobs. I have a little gas, like a camping gas, little screw on tops. There is so many things out there on the market. But for an average person, guys, they're really inexpensive. Those gas canisters don't go out of date. And just to have something there, just in case you want a cup of tea or warm up your soup, they are really, really good idea. The next thing, guys, is lighting, okay? Lighting, it's really, really straightforward. As we all know, basics of a torch, okay? It's good enough. But there are so many things out there on the market. The torches are different. So if you require something to lit up a room, you can have yourself a little lanterns, okay? Again, the options are endless. You can have lanterns that are battery operated, you can have the ones that are solar powered, you can have lanterns that glow throughout and have a torch, you can have a fan. Honestly, things are out there. One of the cheapest and really, really good ones we found was actually an Aldi, okay? One of those little solar chargeable little torches, not torches, but lanterns, okay? It was like £7. It will last you for 6 hours, okay? And it's pretty bright in the dark. You got fairly large panel on the top. It doesn't have to have a sunshine to charge, okay? So long as you put it in the window, they charge quite easily and they do last generally quite a long time. Many people use like a solar lights, okay? A garden outdoor solar lights, fairy lights, plug them in, use them inside, is absolutely fine. If you don't have one of those, then yes, you have to rely on solar quite a lot. Things again like head torches, so if you are needing to do something or in the middle of doing something, then having a head torch, it's also a good idea. And then of course, guys, there are candles, okay? It is kind of, some people really pro, some people are against, but again, so long as you do things safely, okay, then it's okay. I wouldn't suggest the tea lights unless you have them in a really, really secure sort of glass things, but they don't particularly last really long. I have them. As a prepper, I have a lot of them, but I got a lot of those little lanterns about. And again, there are things, guys, you can have all of that stuff in a box sitting there ready, like, oh, there's a blackout box. I don't have a box. I have stuff strategically placed where I need it. So when we're talking about, say, the candles, I have those lanterns, okay, around the house with the candles inside. And of course, to light up the candle, you need a lighter. So anywhere I have a candle or one of those, there is a lighter behind it. So if the lights go out, if I don't have a torch or have a torch by the side, I just go reach out for the back and light them up. It's very inexpensive. You can still buy 50 of the lighters for like £7 or £8. It's still very, very cheap. So you can make your life quite easier if you don't have space to have a box or if you generally just don't want to have a box. The same thing with the torches. you know, we have torches in our phones and the phone's kind of always nearby, but I also got strategically placed torches around the house. We've got them in the bedside cabinets, we have them in the hallway on the window, in many places. If we suddenly need one, I know where they are. But the key point, you have to be important that both of you members of family know where the things are in case of an emergency. So next thing, guys, is a personal hygiene. Okay, we're talking about 3 hours. If we're talking about really basics, you don't have to worry about it. Even for the prolonged times, guys, if the power is out, doesn't mean you have no water, but the problem is if your obviously boiler is electric, which majority are, your boiler won't be working, so you won't have hot water anyway. So again, something to consider is just having very basic body wipes. Okay, you can pick them up. Those were 99p from Home Bargains. They only sell them, seem to be around, you know, the camping time, but you can buy them on Amazon. They're huge, they're wet, so if you are desperate, obviously you're not going to have a cold shower, just to keep yourself clean, buy some of those. They're cheap, they're cheerful, and they stay wet for ages. And the last, guys, but not least, of course, we're talking about the entertainment. Again, 3 hours, power goes out, is a blessing, okay? We found it happened before. It just brings the family together. We put some of the lanterns on and just play some games. But if you don't have any kids, obviously you might not have any games lying around. Make sure, you know, just something that you're going to occupy yourself. Whether it be in a book, whether it be a puzzle, whether it be, you know, Sudoku or a crossword, just have something there to occupy your mind. So that's that, guys. That really covers the main points. One thing to stress though, with the water, although it has nothing to do with power, but is a prepper and is an emergency preparedness. We need water. We can't live without water. And I think it's very, very important to be able to have some water stashed away. Yes, guys, again, I've covered this on many videos, water purification, water harvesting, that kind of thing. But just for an emergency, guys, because it happened before that even to us, when we had no power, we had no water. So even if you wanted to cook something or boil yourself a cup of tea, if you don't have water, you can't do that. So do bear in mind, get yourself, you know, a few bottles of 5 litre or whatever way, guys, you feel that you want to be able to stock up some water just in case. Apart from that, I do hope, guys, you really enjoyed this video or at least found this helpful as a starting point. I know it could be so complicated to just get your grasp around to where do you start or what to do. But guys, as you can see, it is very straightforward. If you know, you can pick those things up, majority, very cheaply, apart from obviously the generators. But you can get to start, you know, you can put this kit together for a very little amount of money. So anyway, I'm gonna stop talking. Watch out for the video if you are interested on the power generators, solar generators. In fact, just gonna do a blatant, really easy, plain terms for people to understand. Otherwise, well, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget thumbs up, maybe subscribe if you haven't, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye.